Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream and day 22 of the January transfer window. We're inside the final 2 weeks. Hopefully that means that business will start to pick up and Chelsea will pull their fingers out their arses and actually sign some players and actually make some improvements for the squad. But I am not hopeful. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Make sure you're smashing the likes. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. There is plenty to dive into in today's show. Chelsea are one of 4 Premier League clubs with Matheus Cunha of Wolves on their radar. Going to be diving into the latest in the Matheus Cunha situation. There's also been links with a potential loan move for Douglas Luiz, who is out of favour at Juventus. And The Athletic today reporting that Chelsea, despite having Hugo Chukwu and Santos on loan, are open to signing a midfielder before the window closes if it's the right player and deal. Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. We've also got the latest on Douglas Luiz, latest on a striker hunt as well. Rumours of a move for Dusan Vlahovic shut down like Skepta. And we've also got an update from Matt Law on the striker search, and it is hitting critical stages in the pursuit of Alejandro Garnacho. Chelsea have had fresh contact and now weighing up whether to make a bid or not. It looks like it's going to be a straight shootout between Chelsea and Napoli for the Argentina international. Chelsea made contact with United and the player side. Now they're deciding internally whether to make a bid or not. So there is loads and loads to dive into, guys. Loads and loads to dive into. Nothing is ever simple at this football club. Plus, we have also got latest news on Enzo Fernandez and Romeo Lavia. Romeo Lavia set to be out for a number of weeks, which is not good news. Plus, Enzo Fernandez expected to make a quicker return to action than first thought, but could still miss a couple of weeks, meaning he's a big doubt for the City game and possibly the West Ham game as well, guys. So, yeah, not good news in the midfield. But big up to everyone that's locked in. As I said, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new around here. Let's get this show on the road. Let's say hello to a few people, and then we'll get cracking. I don't want Garnacho. Yeah, I hear you. Get Cunha. I don't think Cunha's going to come, but we can try. Yeah, I agree. Let's show some ambition. Let's stop being interested FC. Let's stop being talking to FC. Let's stop being considering FC. Let's stop being weighing up a bid internally FC. And let's pull your finger out your ass and put some fucking money on the table for someone. Seriously. Big up, try low move for Douglas Luiz, not bad. I definitely add experience to our midfield. I've got a more cynical view than that. They don't want to recall either of them because they want them to get regular playing time so they can sell them off. I'm saying it. That's the reality of the situation. I'd love to be wrong, but any normal football club who actually makes footballing decisions rather than decisions based on financials, for me, the reason why they're not being recalled is because they want them to play regularly so they can sell them for more in the summer. That's the way I see it. A Luiz move could make sense for 6 months. Well, I'll bring you all the latest on that, guys. Yes, big up. Cunha's not a central midfield player, no. Yes, Jeff, big up, brother. Yeah, I hope so. Well, weeks could technically mean months because if it's more than, it could be 5 weeks, which is more than a month. So, you know, weeks is just another way of maybe sounds slightly better than months, but weeks technically could be months. You know, you never know. I don't think so. People looking at Cunha, people liking Cunha. Anyway, big up, guys. We're over 100 in the building already inside the first 5 minutes. Mad love on the show already. But let's get this show on the road. And let's start with the news that was broken last night by Sammy Mockbell in the Daily Mail. Chelsea, one of 4 clubs with Matheus Cunha on their radar. Matheus Cunha is on the radar of Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, Spurs, and Arsenal. Now, Cunha had a particularly quiet night at Stamford Bridge on Monday. Didn't really do very much. But this article leads with Nottingham Forest making Wolves striker Matheus Cunha their top January target amid interest from Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs. Look at Nottingham Forest showing genuine levels of ambition above their station. But they're in a position where they didn't expect to be in, and now they're showing real ambition in the transfer market, which is more than can be said for ourselves, more than can be said for Arsenal, and more than can be said for Spurs. how are clubs like Nottingham Forest showing more ambition, wanting to get things done, wanting to make improvements so they can finish in the top four, whilst we seem set on sabotaging ourselves and doing everything we possibly can to ensure we don't finish in the top four? It's crazy, but let's continue with this article. Nottingham Forest have placed Wolves forward Matheus Cunha at the top of their January shopping list. Forest are ready to enter the market for a new attacker this month, and Cunha has been identified as a primary target. The 25-year-old is being courted by a number of the Premier League's top clubs, and it remains to be seen if Forest can pull off what would be a major coup. Nevertheless, Forest have serious interest in the Brazil international and are ready to make a play for the 10-goal forward. Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs are among the clubs linked with Cunha, who has held talks with Wolves over a new contract, although I thought that was being close to be signed, but that looks different now. Obviously, Vitor Pereira criticised Cunha after the Chelsea game. I think Cunha was involved in a bit of a spat with a journalist on Twitter as well. Not ideal. So yeah, we're going to wait and see what happens on that one. Matheus Cunha, I think, is a smashing player. Really, really good player. Is he what Chelsea are looking for right now? I don't know if it's the exact profile we're looking for. He's not really an out-and-out striker. Yes, he can play through the middle, but he's one of them players that, you know, versatile wide player or versatile forward player, I should really say. And for a Wolves team that are struggling, that are literally only in out of the relegation zone purely on goal difference, his return is very, very good in the struggling Wolves side. From 21 appearances, he's got 14 GNA, 10 goals, 4 assists. He's one of those players who is predominantly an attacking midfield player, but he can play as like a second striker, can play wide, can play as a centre forward. So he's one of those versatile forward players. And whilst he's not an out-and-out striker, which I think Chelsea would rather have, he does fit the bill, fits the remit of an out-and-out of a sort of a versatile attacking player that clubs seem to go for in the modern day. Look, I wouldn't say he's another Nkunku. I get your point in terms of he's similar to an Nkunku in terms of positions that he covers, but it's a sort of squad signing that does kind of make sense in a way. But when you've already got 2 other players in the squad like that, in Nkunku and Felix, who are still at the football club, a move for a Cunha doesn't necessarily make an awful lot of sense. It doesn't necessarily make an awful lot of sense, a move for Matheus Cunha, given you've got Felix and Nkunku, who are both similar in profile in terms of being able to be versatile kind of across the front line. So do you really need to add a 3rd player to that? Now, as I said, he can play as a striker, but that's not really, I wouldn't really say that was his, I wouldn't really say that was his best position. I wouldn't really say that was his that was his preferred position, but it's one that it's one that he could do. But again, we're not looking for players that could do a role. We really want a specialist in that role. We don't want someone who's versatile across the whole front line. We want someone who is a specialist in the centre forward position that is going to come in and play centre forward, and that is going to make a difference to what Chelsea are doing. You know, Cunha's a great player, really good player. But with Nkunku and Felix both in the squad, a move for a player of Cunha's profile really doesn't make an awful lot of sense. I can understand why he might be on the Chelsea radar, especially if an Nkunku or a Felix were to leave. But even if one of those players were to leave, you'd still want a situation where you've got an out-and-out striker coming through the door. For me, as much as I like Cunha, and I wouldn't be against the signing if it did happen, the reality of the situation is it's a profile that we don't need. Chelsea desperately need an out-and-out striker, and Cunha, who is under contract, I think, until 2027 at Wolves, final 2 years of his deal, to be final 2 years of his deal in the summer, Wolves are going to want decent money for him. I reckon you're looking at 60, 70 million pounds upwards for him, unless he makes it clear that he wants to force his way out and he doesn't want to be there. So yes, Matheus Cunha is a baller, and yes, he's a top player. But for me, I would have to say no, reluctantly say no on this one, because whilst Felix and Nkunku are still in the squad, we don't need another player of this kind of caliber. That's the reality, guys. That's the reality of the situation, really. But if an Nkunku or a Felix were to leave, or both left, which I think is increasingly unlikely, then obviously a Matheus Cunha coming in would absolutely make sense on that level. But right now, I just don't see the space for a Cunha type in the squad at this current stage. But he's not gonna replace Jackson. He's not an out centre forward. He doesn't play like that. He's got great qualities and great attributes, but at the end of the day, he's just not what's needed. And look, it's nice that we've got, certain players on the radar, and you can see why Chelsea might be potentially interested in said players. But at the end of the day, it's nonsense, really, isn't it? It's nonsense. It really is. When you think about all the links we're getting to players are literally players that don't fit what we're looking to do. And unfortunately, Matheus Cunha is another one of those players who might be a very good player in his own right, which he is, but he doesn't fit the void in the squad that we're missing. He doesn't fit the bill of what we're looking to do. I mean, look, with the greatest of respects, he would be a fantastic player for Forest. He's way, way better than Nottingham Forest. This is a guy that should be playing for a Champions League level team. This is a guy really that can play for any of the top sides in the Premier League and would make a difference. And this is a guy who obviously is much better than the level that he's currently playing at and in a team that he's currently in. Having said that, it's going to take a lot of money to get him out. And I don't see Chelsea acting on this. I would say that Arsenal could be the most likely destination for Matheus Cunha. But again, maybe there's clubs in Europe interested. I'm not sure. So whilst I like the player, guys, and it's you can see why Chelsea may have tracked him and may be looking at him. The reality is, people, he's not what's required. Yes, he's scored from every position that he's played in. Of course he has. But look, you've got to at the end of the day, you've got to applaud Nottingham Forest's audacity. Third in the Premier League, they're throwing their weight around like they're one of the big boys. They've bidded for Visser, which is one of Brentford's main players, and now with Wolves in the midst of a relegation scrap, they're doing an audacious attempt to try and bring Matheus Cunha. Fair play to them. Fair play to them. That's the sort of ambition that I would like Chelsea to be showing in the transfer market, and that ambition is lacking. Instead, we are making stupid decisions in the transfer market, being linked to players we don't need, and not addressing situations that need to be addressed. If only we could just show some ambition, guys. If only we could show some ambition. But that clearly seems to be a little bit too much to ask these days. Showing ambition, guys. Seems to be too much to ask. By the way, already 158 in the building. Make sure you're smashing the like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you are new round here. It just feels like we have wasted so much time in this window. Over 3 weeks into it now, into the final couple of weeks of the window. Hopefully things are going to start heating up in regards to it, in regards to transfers and whatnot. But the reality is, we've wasted 3 weeks so far. We have wasted 3 weeks so far. Yeah, look, I would take Matheus Cunha as well if we didn't have João Felix and Christopher Nkunku. That's the reality. The reality is that we don't need Cunha, and he doesn't fit what we're looking to do. That's the biggest issue here, guys. He doesn't fit what we're looking to do. So yeah, but let's wait and see how the race for Cunha develops. Let's wait and see what happens with Matheus Cunha. So I don't know. We'll see. We will wait and see. I wouldn't say Cunha was an elite level player, but he's very, very good. He's very, very good. And he's someone that can do a great job in a squad that needs that profile. But unfortunately, we don't need that profile. We don't need that profile. And that's really as simple as that. So let's see what happens. I still think there's a very strong chance that he ends up staying at Wolves. I think it's almost certain he's gone in the summer. Guaranteed that he's gone in the summer. But a January exit could be on the cards. So let's see how that one pans out. No, we haven't done that yet. We're going to move on to it. What's being said here? Will Chelsea link with Isak, Osimhen, and Gyökeres? No, unfortunately not. No, we don't shop. We don't mix in those circles anymore. Unfortunately, we don't mix in those circles. That's the reality here. We do not mix in those circles. So that's all I can say on that. I mean, we joke, but if he ends up signing, then I wouldn't even rule it out. Our directors doesn't fit in the fans' ambitions. Nah, clearly not. Bro, Vlahovic is not coming to Chelsea. Those rumours have been shut down. They've been straight up shut down. We're not doing anything in this window. And when you and other fans are going to wake up to fact our owners are not here to win things. Look, it's this recruitment stuff and these transfers is not ownership driven. This is sporting director driven. Okay, yes, the ownership have had a plan and whatnot, and the sporting directors are carrying it out. But this is, unfortunately, Chelsea aren't making transfer decisions based on footballing. They're not deciding on transfers based on footballing decisions. They are basing their transfers purely on financial decisions. And when you're basing your transfer business purely on financials rather than on footballing decisions, this is why you end up in a mess that we're in. And this is why you end up with such a high turnover of players that we're in. Everybody is for sale in this team if the price is right. You know, certain teams should have untouchables, you know, but at Chelsea, I get the impression that there's no one's untouchable. Anybody is for sale as long as the price is right. Anybody is for sale. No, we're going to get onto that. Guys, I'm going to have to scroll down to the bottom. Loads of things coming in. Yeah, they do, bro. They do. They absolutely do. Excuse me. Wait, first time Garnacho's name gets mentioned, I'm sneezing. Allergic. Yeah, it certainly feels that way. It certainly feels that way. I wouldn't say they don't want to win, but I would say that winning is secondary to flipping players and making profit. That's the impression that I'm getting, and that's the way that's the way that things are coming across, and with the way that we've conducted ourselves so far in this transfer window. That is exactly how it feels. Bro, I would love to say he is. I don't think he is. If someone put 150 M's on the table for Palmer, they would accept it. Whether Palmer would want to go is a separate conversation, but that bid would be accepted. It is my point. Nottingham Forest already have Wood. They still want to sign Vista from Brentford. Yeah, bro, their mentality is top. Their top mentality, top level of ambition being shown. You know, and we could learn a thing or two from that. As I've said, players are available in January. You can make signings in January. We are actively choosing not to. We are actively choosing not to make the signings in January. But well, I mean, look, you would have to presume if, let's presume that a move did materialize for Matheus Cunha, you would imagine that he would be brought into play as a striker. But I wouldn't even say a striker is his best position. He's better as an attacking midfielder, in my opinion. So, yeah, you'd be bringing someone in potentially on for a large transfer fee who isn't actually addressing what you need. You need an out-and-out striker, and Matheus Cunha is not that. So that's why I like the player, but the links don't make any sense. Bro, because we've still got Nkunku and Felix at the club. You know, and whilst you've still got Nkunku and Felix at the club, signing a player like Cunha makes 0 sense. Absolutely 0 sense. I've not seen that. Again, wouldn't surprise me if they because Chelsea always try and do one this way, one that way when they're doing business with anyone, which is really frustrating. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but I've not seen that. I hope so. I think we will. But we've literally wasted 3 weeks and nothing's happened. So like Casadei's meant to have been leaving pretty much every day. Casadei's meant to have been close to leaving since the start of the window. We're over 3 weeks in now, and he's still not left. So what's going on there? It's like we're negotiating for like £100 million player to sell, which takes time. No, this is a 15, £20 million deal, tops. And you spent 3 weeks trying to negotiate a sale. What the fuck is going on there? Yeah, no, bro, they do. They do. They absolutely do. They just love that transfer dopamine hit, shiny toy syndrome. You know, the shiny object syndrome. That's what they love. Whether it suits the team or not, people just lap it up. But yeah, let's move away from Matheus Cunha. Well, bro, we've been saying that for 3 weeks, so let's wait and see. We're going to move away from Matheus Cunha, and we're going to discuss the midfield scenario, because this is another thing that is absolutely baffling and makes zero sense whatsoever. Zero sense whatsoever. But here we are anyway. Chelsea are interested in signing Juventus midfielder Douglas Luiz on loan until the end of the season. Now, generally speaking, in isolation, this doesn't appear to be a particularly bad deal. But what doesn't make any sense is why, when you've got Leslie Ugochukwu and Andre Santos on loan, are you looking to sign another midfield player on loan for 6 months? Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense at all. No, it doesn't make sense. And yes, okay, Douglas Luiz coming in. He's struggled at Juventus. He's not been good there at all. He's barely played. It's the move's been a disaster. But he was very good at Aston Villa last season. Knows the Premier League, and yes, he would make an impact, and he would be a useful addition 100% for that second half of the season. He absolutely would be. But what I don't understand is why we are open to signing a midfield player when we've already got 2 very good midfielders who are on loan, who could be recalled. Now, forget Andre Santos. You could 100% recall Leslie Ugochukwu. No doubt about it. And as I referenced at the top of the show, can't recall Ugochukwu or Santos because we want to keep them playing to sell them later. That is the Chelsea way. And that might seem cynical and people may disagree, but all the evidence points to that. Why would you not recall one of your existing players to help you out, who could be an asset to you for next season? Why would you not do that? Why would you decide to sign someone on loan for 6 months who's not going to be part of the long-term project, who's literally going to come to the club for 6 months? Why would you do that over one of your own players and one of your own assets? And I'm sorry, for me, the only reason they're refusing to recall them is because they want them to keep playing, to boost their transfer value, to attract more suitors before eventually selling them for an even bigger profit. That's the reality. And I'm sorry, it has to be said. It has to be said. It has to be said, guys. It has to be said, people. And I'm glad that, you know, someone else, other people have said that, because I believe that to absolutely be the do that. I've got no faith that they won't do that. You know, rather sign someone on loan for 6 months is going to contribute nothing to Chelsea after this season. and I think they want to sell him. That's my personal thought. Now, whether people disagree, that's fine, but that's how I see it. And I've got very, for me, there's very little evidence to suggest that we wouldn't do that. That's what I'm getting at, people. There's very, very little evidence to suggest that we would not do that. I think we would. People, run the likes up. We're 233 in the building. We're only on 76 likes. What's going on here? Smash that like button. Get this up over 100. That should be done immediately. In the next 2 minutes, guys, that should be on 100 likes. So let's get to work, people. Smash that like button. Smash the subscribe button as well if you are new round here. Guys, would greatly appreciate it. Let's run up those likes and let's run up those subscribers. We're 8 subscribers away from 15,450. So keep smashing the subscribe button, people. Let's get to work. Run it up, run it up. Santos is very good. He is absolutely. Bro, we make loads of mistakes. We make loads of mistakes. Now, I'm not saying that Chelsea are definitely going to sell Andre Santos, but it's something that cannot be ruled out. Something that simply cannot be ruled out because it's what we do. It's what we do. Sure, yeah. Look, this in theory wouldn't be a horrendous thing to do, but my whole issue with it is why are you prioritizing a loan deal for Douglas Luiz over recalling Ugochukwu, who could contribute for the remainder of the season and is your player? In your opinion, is selling in Nkunku and Felix then get Cunha good for us? I don't know if it's an upgrade necessarily. I don't really know. But it's clear that I would say if Nkunku left, but the thing is though, even if one of Nkunku and Felix leaves, Cunha fine. But as I said, he's not an out-and-out striker, which is why I would be against the signing, because it doesn't address what we're looking to do, unfortunately, despite how good he is. Mudryk has been given a 4-year ban. No, he hasn't. Bro, I'm not sure what planet you're on, but it's definitely not planet Earth. In no way in hell is that happening in the final 2 weeks of this window. If it does, I will apologize profusely after the window is closed. But brother, that's never happening. Never, ever happening. There's more chance of me signing for Chelsea than that happening. Santos is very important to Strasbourg's season. He's even captain the team. No, well, we own Strasbourg. Like, at the end of the day, what's more important, Chelsea or Strasbourg? I get it that you don't want Strasbourg to get relegated, and taking their best player out it wouldn't be an ideal situation. But you can replace them with someone else. You could send Chukwuemeka there, for example, instead. You know, which would also be good for Strasbourg and good for Chukwuemeka. You know, at the end of the day, are we Chelsea FC or are we Strasbourg FC? I don't give a fuck about Strasbourg personally. Okay, obviously I don't want them to go down because it fucks up the project and whatnot. But I couldn't care less about Strasbourg. So why are we so bothered about upsetting Strasbourg? Do we want Chelsea to do well or do we want Strasbourg to do well? What are your priorities here? The priority should be for Chelsea to be doing well. And that's the reality of the situation. But look, a loan move for Douglas Luiz, if you're going to do it, why have you waited 3 weeks to do it? Why are we still assessing? Why are we still weighing up, considering, whatever word you want to use, whatever phrase you want to use? How much more needs to be weighed up? How much more needs to be considered? That's just the elephant in the room. They want to sell Santos on Leslie. Yeah, bro, I unfortunately, I agree. And it's what I said earlier. I think that's exactly what they want to happen. And it's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to, if they don't sell both of them, one of them's going to be sold. If they don't sell both of them, 100% one of them's going to be gone. No doubt about it in my mind. Yeah, Santos obviously wants to play for Chelsea. Of course he does. And he's more than good enough to do it. If Maresca wanted Santos this season, he would have kept him. Yeah, look, we didn't need him at the start of the season, but ultimately, you know, we could have done with him. You know, at the end of the day, you shouldn't be making decisions based on Romeo Lavia staying fit when there's no evidence to suggest that he's able to do so. You shouldn't be doing that. that's where we've made mistakes. And Andre Santos ultimately would have played a lot for Chelsea this season. I think he would have done a very good job. Sympathetic for players because it replaces the profits we lost from the loan program. They're just, I hate it because at the end of the day, we're not doing transfers based on what's best for the team. We're making transfers based on what's best for the balance sheet, and that is not a good way of going about things. You know, all they're interested in is player trading. You know, you will sign one, you sign one. Like, player trading has got very little upside for both sides, for both sides involved. And it's not the way to build a winning football team. You're not going to build anything sustainable or anything decent or a winning side if you're constantly switching round a lot of players in your team like every fucking transfer window. It just isn't sustainable. It's just not a good way of operating. It might be a good way of operating financially, but in terms of building a successful football team, there's a reason why no one's ever done this approach before, and I think we're finding out why that is. But look, let me try and find, guys. I'm gonna have to scroll to the bottom of the chat. What's happened to Carney? Where is he? Well, Carney's at Cobham. He's training, and he still hasn't left the club, and he still hasn't gone anywhere yet. So, yeah, it's kind of beggars belief, really, what's going on there. Why has Carney not just been sent out on loan to a club? There's supposedly loads of interest in him. But as I was saying yesterday, guys, it's funny how there's all this supposed interest in these players, and yet other than Cassidy, no bids have come in for anyone, and not a single player has been sold. Now, why is that, guys? Why is that? Can someone tell me? Because I think we've been bullshitting. I think we've been lying about what's going on. I think we've been lying about what's going on in terms of interest from players. You know? I don't know. But it's clear that something doesn't make sense, because if you've got all this interest, then where are the bids? Where are the bids if you have all this interest? Because I'm baffled. I'm absolutely baffled. None of it makes any sense whatsoever. Like, what are we doing? Like, what? Seriously, what are we playing at, guys? What are we doing here? Bro, Chile wasn't a bomb squad in the summer. Chile's been training with the first team now for quite a while. Well, say for pretty much since the summer window closed. Yeah, pretty par for the course. Pretty par for the course. There was no bids for Osimhen in the. We didn't bid for Osimhen because we wanted to make sure we had agreed personal terms first, and he was open to the move before we put a bid in. And that in fairness is normal practice. You want to make sure that a player is keen on the move and happy to move, and you've agreed personal terms and stuff before actually making a move. So yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense. But this Cunha stuff, not Cunha stuff, sorry, this Douglas Luiz stuff, I don't know. I don't really get it. I have to be honest. I don't really get it. Why spend money? Why spend money when you when you're going to get something when you've got in-house solutions there? I don't get it. But I'm going to try and find this article and see what it's saying and how possible it is. I remember David Ornstein dropping something, I think last week, about Manchester City potentially exploring a move for Douglas Luiz on loan. Chelsea are in talks to sign former Premier League midfielder Douglas Luiz from Juventus, according to reports in Italy. Juve spent over 40 million to sign Luiz from Villa last summer, but are ready to cash in just 7 months since he arrived in Turin. Luiz was the mainstay in the Villa team for 5 years, yet the 26-year-old has started just 3 league games under Thiago Motta and has been deemed surplus to requirements during the January window. Chelsea are interested in bringing Luiz back to the Premier League and have opened talks with Juve over a deal, according to La Gazzetta dello Sport. The Blues are looking to bolster Enzo Maresca's options after a significant blip over the festive period. Yep, Chelsea have expressed interest in signing Luiz on loan, but Juve are hoping to offload the Brazilian on a permanent transfer. Juve are expected to sign at least one new defender before the January window closes and are therefore attempting to offload a couple players to make room for the new additions. Renato Vega and Newcastle's Lloyd Kelly have emerged as January targets for the Italian Giants. I tell you what, I tell you what I could see happening, guys. I tell you what I could see happening. I could see Vega going on loan to Juve for 6 months, and Douglas Luiz coming to us on loan for 6 months. I could quite easily see that happening. And look, at the end of the day, whether I agree with signing another player on loan when you should just recall Ugochukwu is irrelevant. I would much rather we get someone in and get midfield cover. And if Douglas Luiz is the guy that they've decided to move for, then I'm more than happy for that to be the case. But whoever it is, gets me some midfield cover, and don't wait until Caicedo's injured to then act. Let's be proactive rather than reactive. And it just feels like we're being reactive here. And, you know, as has been reported today, there's no miraculous recovery for Fernandes and Lavia. And so it's going to almost certainly be it's going to be a Dewsbury Hall Caicedo midfield against Man City. We've had 22 days, as I've said, to recall Ugochukwu or Santos. And why has it seemingly taken 2 injuries to 2 of our 3 midfield players for us to see that there might be a problem here? Why has it taken that? You should have been aware and noticed straight away when Lavia was constantly getting injured and picking up injuries and not available on a regular basis that, we need to do something about this. Why has it taken until seemingly now, 3 weeks into the window, where you've only got 2 fit central midfield players, and now you've decided to maybe do something? What is that about? What is that about? You know, even in a hypothetical situation where you've got Dewsbury Hall playing at the top of his game, you've got a world where Caicedo isn't run into the ground. It's far from ideal, and absolutely a situation that you'd be looking to address and you should be worried about. You know, I hope we don't, you know, do something stupid like, you know, we invert James into midfield, you play Cucurella there. But it's not ideal at all to have one fit first. How is it ideal to have one fit first team midfielder in Moises Caicedo, and then you're playing Dewsbury Hall in there, who the club, according to reports, are actively looking to try and move on, despite what's being said? It doesn't add up, guys. It doesn't add up, and it doesn't make sense. It's utter nonsense. It's garbage what we're doing. It is complete and utter garbage. Of the highest variety, of the highest kind. It is bullshit what we're doing. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense what we're looking to do. I can't get my head around it. I cannot get my head around it, how we've allowed a situation like this to occur when it was so avoidable and just such obvious solutions there waiting to be done. Well, no, we can't. Even if they wanted, even if they wanted to, they absolutely can't now with the current situation. Dewsbury Hall absolutely cannot leave the football club in this current situation. There's no way that can happen. So, yeah, we're gonna wait and see. You know, wait and see. Yeah, I just don't understand why are we so reactive? Why is no one proactive about anything in this football club? Why is it wait until we've got problems and then act? Why is it always, oh, we're assessing, we're weighing up, we're considering? What is all this nonsense that we're doing? Why can we just not act like a serious football club, show some ambition, actually address things in the market that need to be addressed, and improve the squad and give Maresca the tools that he needs to qualify for the Champions League? Because right now, even though we're 2 points ahead of City and Newcastle, things are looking peak. Things are looking peak for us because we're not being active in the transfer market and we are not taking decisions that we should be taking. And I'm sorry, any competent individuals or any competent football club that's being run efficiently and properly would have dealt with this by now. Wouldn't have waited 3 weeks for to decide that maybe something needs to be done in midfield. Wouldn't wait until you've only got 2 fit midfield players, one of who we're trying to maybe move out of the football club, which we now absolutely can't do that. It's baffling, and it's just another indictment of how we are purely doing business based on finances rather than what's best for the team. And until we stop doing that, we're going to have problems. We're going to have problems until we stop doing that. Yeah, Lavia is such a good footballer, but the guy is always injured. Always injured. This is what, his 3rd injury this season? He plays a couple games, injured, misses 5 or 6 games. It's shit. And but unfortunately, this goes back to the summer because we knew that Lavia has injury issues, can't keep himself fit. We know this, and yet we made decisions in the summer to send midfield players on loan, knowing full well that Lavia cannot keep himself fit for the majority of a season. But yet we gambled on it. Why did we gamble on that? Again, idiotic decision making. Absolutely idiotic decision making. And it's not surprised that Enzo's now injured as well because he's being run into the ground. And unfortunately, we are just waiting for a Moises Caicedo injury now. And I'm at the point now where it's not when, it's not if, sorry, it's when. Because this guy's being run into the ground and he is going to pick up an injury. And then we are well and truly fucked. Fofana's back on the grass. Yeah, he's doing some individual running drills. Potentially, he could be back before the end of the season, maybe. But his recovery is on track. So look, that's some good news at least. Lavia never had these injury issues before. Lavia did have some injuries at Southampton. No, I'm not waffling. Lavia was injured last season. Okay. He did have some injury issues at Southampton as well. Not as many as this. But we should have known that you cannot rely on Lavia to stay fit for a season. You can't. And we made decisions in the summer banking on Lavia staying fit. And now we're paying a massive, massive price for that. We're paying a massive, massive price for it. We've got 56 minutes from Lavia. He's out injured again earlier in the season. Yeah, I know. Look, what I would say is, right, I'm going to slightly defend him because he's a wonderful footballer. He's 20 years of age. You would like to think that with so much of his career ahead of him, that these injury issues, he can maybe put those behind him, as soon as possible. But right now, you can't rely on him. You cannot rely on him, and you cannot build a team around a player who, as you say, gets to 56 minutes, out injured again, plays 45, injured. You can't rely on a player like that. You simply can't. Yeah, no, he does. He does love the sporting directors. I mean, Todd's not been involved in the day-to-day running of the club for quite a long time now. But yeah, look, absolutely loves the sporting directors. Loves them. No, absolutely not. Lavia is a top midfield player. I'm a massive fan of his, but we need to get to the bottom of these injury issues. And ultimately, we need someone in there who can play in Lavia's absence, who is of first-team quality, because you can't rely on Lavia. No, I'm not blaming the directors. What I'm blaming are decisions that were made in the summer when we decided, whoever it was, whether it was the directors or the manager, whoever decided that it was a good idea to base some of your transfer dealings on Lavia staying fit for the majority of the season. Who thought that was a good idea? He missed the entire of last season with an injury. We know that he's got injury issues, and there's zero cover, guys. There's zero cover. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they are. It is the same as Fafana and James. Chalobah can cover. No, bro, this is exactly the nonsense thinking that gets you in difficult positions in the first place. You can't be putting square pegs in round holes. Get me proper cover. Get me proper cover for a midfielder. Get me proper cover for a midfielder. It's not difficult. Where is that cover for a midfielder? Because it shouldn't be taking 3 weeks to find it. But yeah, anyway, Chelsea are open to signing a midfield player on loan. Let's see if anything comes of those links with Douglas Luiz. But guys, let's act, and preferably sooner rather than later. Bro, you joke about that, but I'm telling you now, and I think I discussed this the other day. Conor Gallagher would be getting minutes in this Chelsea team right now, and he would suit the system, and he would be doing it, and he would do a job for us. I'm absolutely by no means saying that he would start every week, but he would do a job for this team right now. There's no doubt about it. No. Look, I've said many times that we're in a good position right now, but at the moment, this transfer window has been negative. There's nothing that you can't paint it any other way. Cannot paint it any other way. This January window has been an absolute disaster right now, and no one can say otherwise. It's been shit. Edison's a very good midfielder. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up at Manchester City, not necessarily this window, but maybe in the summer. That could for sure be a possibility. Guys, we're 254 in the building still, 122 likes. Let's get this up to 150 likes. Let's get it up to 150 likes. Run it up, people. It'd be greatly appreciated. Let's get there. Let's do what we can. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Big numbers this afternoon. Always greatly appreciated, people. So make sure you are smashing the likes. Let's get it to 150 and keep subscribing. We're 3 subscribers away from 15,450. Let's keep it moving, guys. Let's keep it moving. Bro, they all do. There's recall options in those loans. We're not that stupid. We're not that stupid not to put any recall options in there. No. I don't think so. I don't think so. Bro, we recalled Santos from Forest because he wasn't playing, and we sent him straight to Strasbourg. Poch wanted a midfielder, and they gave him Cassidy. You know, that wasn't the solution. I'm not saying that they don't know how to. They know how to do it, but they actively are choosing not to. They're actively choosing not to. Yeah, and look, this absolutely, and I've said that many times. This is not an issue now. We have made many dud signings and bum signings under Marina and Roman. Of course we have. Yeah, no, bro, it's totally normal. I unfortunately feel the same way. Can absolutely see that happening. Can absolutely see it happening, and that would be a real shame. Just the mention of a title race with Tumble. I don't know if those two things are linked or not. Signing was a horrible signing. And talking of horrible signings, let's bring you up to date with the latest on Alejandro Garnacho, guys, because let's have a look here. Chelsea are now discussing internally whether or not to bid for Garnacho. Contact made with Manchester United and the players' camp. It's decision time. 3 players on Chelsea's list. So I presume Gittins is on there as well, and someone else. I don't know who that other one would be. Is it Nico Williams? Who knows? But anyway, it's decision time. Why is it decision time now? We should have decided this ages ago if you wanted to move for this player. Napoli's opening bid. So Napoli have already made an opening bid. So Chelsea, it's decision time now whether we're going to bid for Garnacho or not. Journalists in Argentina are saying that a bid for Garnacho will come in the next couple of days. let's wait and see what happens there. But Fabrizio has reported, guys, that Napoli have apparently already made an offer for Napoli's opening bid for Garnacho worth 50 million euros package, add-ons included. United want more. Conte keeps pushing after a call with Garnacho on Friday. Chelsea made contact with United and player side, now deciding internally whether to bid or not. Okay, guys. Well, there we go. So Napoli have bid 50 million euro package. United want more. I think United are looking for maybe 60, 70 million euros. So they're not a million miles away in valuation. Not a million miles away in valuation, but yeah, certainly not ideal. Certainly not ideal, guys. No, I didn't moan about him. He played well last season because the system suited him. All I'm saying now is, I'm not saying that we should take him back or anything like that. All I'm saying is that we could have done with him for some midfield cover right now. That's all I'm saying, and that he would have been a useful member of the squad this season. I agree, it's a pointless signing. Yeah, well, that's euros, by the way. So that's about probably 40 million quid. But yeah, the sentiment is the same. It is too much, guys. It is too much. No doubt about it. Napoli, please take my hopes. So would you take Cunha at Chelsea? I wouldn't take Cunha at Chelsea purely because we've still got Nkunku and Felix on the books, and he's a similar type of player in terms of being able to cover those positions across the front line. If one or two of them left, then sure. Nah, bro. I think we're going to bid for it. I think we will bid for Garnacho. I suspect that news is coming. I think that news is coming, guys, and we will bid for Alejandro Garnacho. We're just waiting now. We're just waiting. No, bro. Garnacho is not it. Is not. I'll support him if he comes, but he's totally unneeded. Please tell me why we need a winger who doesn't score goals. Please tell me why that's needed right now. It's not needed. It's not needed, bro. We've got enough players to cover that until the summer. You know, we've got Tyreek George, we've got Madueke, we've got Neto, and we've got Sancho. Plus Felix could play there. Plus Nkunku could play there in an emergency. Plus you can also play Palmer on the right if needed. A winger is not needed right now, and Garnacho is not the sort of unbelievable opportunity in the market that you go and do a deal like this for. As I said, if he comes, then I will support him like I do with everyone. But this is not it. So we're now waiting. Chelsea are expected to make a bid for Garnacho, according to reports in Argentina. And Ben Jacobs has also added a bit more details on him. Has also added a bit more details on him in terms of Chelsea's pursuit. And let's just find that now. So this was an article in Give Me Sport yesterday. Chelsea are deciding whether to place a bid or not, a bid for Man United winger Garnacho, as they assess adding another wide attacker before the window shuts. Blues face competition from Napoli and must contend with the United 70 million euro asking price, which has already been quoted in talks with the Italian side. That number may drop somewhat as the window draws to a close, but United are sticking to a high valuation given Garnacho's value to the squad and high ceiling. Napoli have currently placed 2 offers, while Garnacho, described as incredible by teammate Rasmus Højlund, has held direct talks with Conte, but Chelsea can't be discounted. A move to Stamford Bridge was fueled on Monday night when Garnacho's agents Carlos Cambiero and Kike De Lucas posted footage of them watching Chelsea's win over Wolves. Give Me Sport understands the pair were not directly invited by Chelsea's owners, but that talks have taken place as Chelsea assess whether to bid. Chelsea are also keen on Jamie Gittins and Matheus Tel. Chelsea also had an interest in Borussia Dortmund's Jamie Gittins and Bayern Munich's Matheus Tel. The latter is a difficult deal to pull off, given Bayern's reluctance to sell. The German side retain an interest in Nkunku, but are currently put off by the £60 million asking price. If Bayern don't push for Nkunku, it makes it harder for Chelsea to land Tel. even though both prospective transfers would be separate deals. Chelsea, okay, so those are obviously the three names then. Tell, Garnacho, and Gittins. Gittins and Tell, I think, virtually impossible this window, virtually impossible. So if they're going to sign a wide player this month, then it is going to end up being Garnacho. If we end up signing a wide player this month, that is who it will be. And I think now we're just waiting, guys. Now we're just waiting. It's very much a shootout between Chelsea and Napoli for Garnacho. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. But I think this is coming, guys. I think this is coming. I've already had a career best 8 league goals in a season. Bro, no fans made Chelsea pull the plug on it. No fans made Chelsea pull the plug on. Chelsea pulled the plug on them already because they decided to do a deal with George Mendes to take Joao Felix in order to remove Conor Gallagher. That's the reality. And yes, I wasn't that keen on a Samu or a Duran deal in the summer. Absolutely, I wasn't. But I was very keen on us signing a striker. And the decision to not sign a striker and sign Felix instead is biting us in the arse big time. Biting us in the arse big time. Tyreek George can be cover for Mudryk right now. We've got 4 wide players and others who can fill in the wide areas if needed. So why a winger who doesn't score goals is seemingly what Chelsea think they need this month is absolutely beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. Makes literally 0 sense. No, I never said Duran was an unknown. Duran was far more known than Omar, and I've said that, actually that I was wrong on those things. I've said I was wrong on those things, and we need a striker. We don't need a winger. This is where a lot of the Garnacho dislike comes from, because we don't need a winger this month. It's not a priority, and in my opinion, he's not better than any of the current wide players we've got. Could he become better than any of the current wide players? Potentially, yes. He could potentially become better than what we've already got. But right now, he's not better than what we've got, and he doesn't make a difference to the first team. That's my opinion. And people are obviously free to agree or disagree with that. I don't think Garnacho's that good, but yeah, I don't know why we're looking at him. I don't know why we're looking at him. No, they clearly don't. They clearly don't rate George like that. Although George did get some Premier League minutes against Wolves, that's probably more likely because the game was pretty much done. I don't think that was any reason other than that. It could well be. Yeah, Garnacho. Yeah, look, let's be real. Garnacho is better than George, but he's not better than any of the players that are playing on a regular basis. That's the that's the point. That's the point. Was that George's PL debut? Yeah, maybe it was. Yeah, that took time, didn't it? That took some serious amount of time to get there for Tyreek George. But it's good that he's getting Premier League minutes and whatnot. That's good. Bro, he's not better than Sancho and Neto. He's not. He absolutely isn't. No chance is he better than them. Absolutely no chance. Bro, so Sancho was like fell out with Ten Hag, and he was frozen out the picture. So of course he started ahead of him because Sancho was frozen out. In no world is Garnacho better than Sancho. Garnacho has done Sancho at 20 had done way more than Garnacho had done in his career. Way more. But as I said, I will support Garnacho like I support every player that signs for the football club. But this is another example of addressing areas and doing transfers in positions that we don't need it's just beggars belief. And, you know, we should just let Napoli have him. Yeah, and what's sorry, what's Garnacho doing at 20? Fuck all at Man United. Yeah, we're not going to get another signing. That's the thing. If we'd signed a striker and then we are and then we were looking about a Garnacho deal, then you could understand it, and then it would possibly make more sense. But the reality is that it doesn't make sense because we've not signed a striker. If it was Garnacho and a striker, then people would be more open to it, or there wouldn't be anywhere near as much uproar about it. Exactly. Ten Hag played Anthony over Ahmad. You know, that doesn't mean that Anthony's better than Ahmad. That doesn't mean that. But yeah, I think there's going to be developments in the Garnacho situation this week. Do I think anything's going to happen today? No, not really. I suspect it'll be something that happens maybe more towards the end of the week. But we have to wait and see on that, guys. Guys, we're 231 in the building still. Keep smashing that like button, guys. We're 15 likes away from 150. Run it up, run it up. We are very, very close now to the 150 target. And keep smashing the subscribe button as well, people. It's free. It takes seconds to do, and I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. So let's run it up, guys. So let's have a look what else is going on in the striker market with Chelsea. Let's have a look what's going on in the striker market with Chelsea. Is it anything exciting? I'm not sure if it is, but we're going to look anyway. We're going to have a look anyway. Is there anything else exciting going on? Well, it's not exactly been a great success now, has it? But let's move on to the striker front then. So I personally feel a bid for Garnacho is going to come in this week. That's my personal thoughts on the situation, but I could be wrong. Let's move on to the striker situation now. And let's start with Matt Law. Bro, Kellyman's not playing for us. I don't think Kellyman will ever play for us, and that was never the intention. So, Matt Law, Chelsea are looking at the striker department, primarily for the summer, but could accelerate a move this month if an opportunity arises. Vlahovic is not under consideration, but Delap and Sesko are thought to be among those of interest. So there's no Dusan Vlahovic, which is expected. Yeah, bro, it's mad. It's mad. But we'll support him if he comes, because that's what you do. Yeah, I think there's been some potential contact around Duran, but yeah, no, Duran's not going anywhere this month. Duran's not going anywhere. There is absolutely zero news on Victor Gyökeres. There's zero news on Gyökeres. So yeah, nothing to add in regard to him. In terms of what Ben Jacobs has been saying, in terms of a striker, Chelsea hold a strong interest in Liam Delap, as we know, and are viewed by many industry insiders as in pole position to land his signature. Ipswich don't wish to sell mid-season, but a summer exit's realistic. City have got a £30 million buyback clause for Delap, but there is no indication they plan to trigger it. Benjamin Sesko is another target, with Chelsea expected to face firm competition from Arsenal and possibly Man United as well. However, Chelsea will not make an approach for Dusan Vlahovic, despite links. Talks with Juventus have only focused on Renato Vega, who also has an offer from Dortmund. So what it's looking like, guys, is that we're not really going to do anything for the this month, but it can't be ruled out entirely. And it looks like it's going to be more likely going to be the summer. My issue with this is that I honestly feel that if we don't bring a striker in, what happens if Jackson gets injured? Then we really are in big trouble. we really are in big, big trouble. Vlahovic is not coming. He's never going to come. So we're taking a massive, massive gamble here. I get it. You don't want to sign someone for the sake of it, and you want to make sure you're doing the right deals and whatnot. I understand that, but what I can't understand is why you take such a big gamble, particularly when we must get in the Champions League this season. Why you take such a big gamble on Nkunku, who doesn't want to be here, and on Nicholas Jackson, who's we desperately need an alternative for, and you've got Mark Guy, who's 18 and raw as anything. So it's baffling. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's baffling. A striker has to arrive this month. It has to arrive this month. And it really shouldn't be that difficult to do. It really shouldn't be that difficult to do. But clearly it is. We're taking a big, big gamble. That people can disagree, and that's fine. You know, we've all got different opinions. But I honestly feel if we just signed Garnacho and we didn't bring a striker in, or we just didn't bring anyone in, you're taking a massive, massive risk, a huge risk in midfield, and you're taking a huge risk up front. So you're taking a huge risk with 2/3 of your team, and ultimately, a lack of action this month could 100% cost us a place in the top four. Could 100% cost us a place in the top four. Well, that wouldn't cost much less than that. I mean, look, I think we all know Chelsea are going to sign Liam Delap, whether it's this month or in the summer. That much is obvious in my view. That much is obvious in my view. Sesko absolutely isn't shit. Sesko's got a lot of very good things going for him. Also got deficiencies in his game, but he's a young striker as well. I would probably prefer Delap out of the two of them, but I absolutely wouldn't be turning my nose up at Benjamin Sesko because there is an elite amount of potential in him. He's obviously playing in a struggling RB Leipzig side right now, but he's got Champions League experience, and he's a good player. I don't know how interested Man United are in Felix or not. That's not really been reported anywhere credible. But again, it wouldn't surprise me. Again, it wouldn't surprise me, and I could be very, very wrong on that, but it wouldn't surprise me. So yeah, but we something's got to be done. I don't know what I don't know what we're waiting on. I don't know what we're trying to decide on. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't make sense. But in regards to Sesko, there's absolutely no. Yeah, look, Sesko. Arsenal have spoken to Sesko over a move for 2025, and that probably means summer. Mid-season move is still complicated, even with Leipzig out of the Champions League. Sesko's agent has made it clear there will be no loan in January. So there is no loan in January for Sesko, and it's going to take you probably £65 million to get him. £65 million to get him. Yeah, but by who? By who? Is there any credible reports on it? Are there any credible reports on it? Guys, 7 likes away from 150 likes. Run it up, run it up. Let's get it to 150. We could even get 160, guys. Let's make sure we get this done, people. Let's make sure we get it done. Run those likes up. Yeah, I think £65 million is going to be that. It's going to be that. No, we've been taking loads of time. We haven't suddenly just needed a striker this month. We needed a striker for the last 3 years. This is not, you know, we're not taking our time. We're just fucking about now. We've had so much time to deal with this. Duran's not happening now. We could have signed him for 40 million in the summer, decided against it for whatever reasons. And Samu Samu wouldn't be too expensive. You could get Samu from Porto. That is a possibility. No, nothing's wrong, but there's no alternative option. That's the point. You need another striker in the squad because we've got no alternatives right now. Zero alternatives to what's going on. Jackson's good, but we need another option. We need another option. Yeah, but you can negotiate those release clauses down. Every contract, I think, in Portugal and in Spain has release clauses that have mandatory release clause in them. You could definitely negotiate that release clause down. I'd be pretty confident on that. He's not scored in the last 6. Hasn't scored in the last 6. Now, look, people had heard of Duran because he was at Aston Villa, but no one was really fully aware of obviously what he was doing, and no one had really heard of him in terms of when he was at Chicago Fire, I think it was, in the MLS. But I think we've probably missed the boat on Duran. So look, it looks like it's going to be Sesko or Delap coming in as a striker. I don't think a striker is going to come this month. But one thing with Chelsea is you just never know. You have to always expect the unexpected, even though we have seemingly wasted 3 weeks of the window, and we desperately need someone else. We're at desperation point, I would say. We are at desperation point, and something needs to change, and it needs to change pretty quickly. Something needs to change, and it needs to change fast. I wouldn't say either of these options are bad, by the way. It might not be what people want, but I don't think they're... I would disagree saying they're bad options. I don't think they're bad options at all. They're different options. They're different options. And we need an alternative. We need an alternative. And the Chelsea squad would be infinitely better with either one of these two in there. That's just the reality. Yeah, we should be putting bro, no one's going to be breaking the bank for Isak. No one is going to be breaking the bank for Alexander Isak. Delap's the most realistic one, and I think at the end of the day, it will end up being Delap. That's the reality here. That's the reality here. Yeah, we were scoring for fun before that, but I'm not quite sure what's happened and what's changed. Yeah, I think Delap's probably the one that I would go for. That would be my favorite option at the end of the day. Well, I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, it certainly kind of feels like there's a bit of helping each other out kind of thing going on there. No, look, there are other strikers on the list. We obviously wanted Victor Osimhen, but a deal didn't happen. There are other strikers on the list. The reports have said Chelsea have got at least a list of 5 to 10 strikers. Sesko but could cost a bit, so Delap would be the main. I think Delap will be the main one. It's not just Jackson missing chances. It's everyone missing chances. It's everyone missing chances. Yeah, I agree. Delap right now is probably the best and the most attainable option, and whether people like that or not, that's the reality of the situation. Bro, we can't not bother. We have to get someone. We can't carry on with the forward options that we've got. We can't carry on with the forward options we've got. I'm taking Sesko over Delap. He has a bigger ceiling than Delap. Let's have it right. People saying no to Sesko is because of agendas. Look, I'm not opposed to Sesko, but I think Delap's more realistic, and I think Delap would probably do a better job. Bro, Evan Ferguson's not doing anything. You know, he's had injury problems and he's been struggling. Yes, he has shown good form and he's a promising player, but Evan Ferguson's not the answer to what we're looking for. Evan Ferguson's not the answer. Yeah, no, he did. Obviously, look, Isak's a wonderful striker, a wonderful player. But football's weird. Jackson had Zabarnyi and hoisted on strings. He was cooking them. And then Isak, you know, couldn't get any change out of them at all. Bro, I'm not sure where you're getting that from, but that's never happening. That's never happening. That's never happening. Lukaku is obviously not happening. Yeah, look, I think we'll end up leaving something right to the end. I don't know why they seemingly do all that stuff. It's an odd one. Doesn't seem to make an awful lot of sense, but hey, there we are. Yeah, he's not done an awful lot since then. I've not properly tracked his stats since then. Sure, but would Isak be able to get into the positions or make some of the chances that Jackson's made for himself? You know, you can apply you can apply both things. I mean, Jonathan David's going to be a free agent in the summer. That's going to be an interesting one. There'll be a lot of clubs sniffing around him. Chelsea reportedly had some interest in him in the summer. Tammy Abraham is a no from me. Is a no. But yeah, that's kind of where we are, guys, in terms of what's going on at the moment. There's not an awful lot happening. It's pretty quiet. It feels like things are simmering. There's a few links here and there, but a lot of it seems to be the same old recycled news, just in a different way. We're just now waiting for something to happen. We're waiting for something to happen, and hopefully that something happens. Hopefully that something happens pretty soon, but we don't know. We don't know for certain. So we are gonna wait and see, guys. We are gonna wait and see. I wouldn't say Garnacho would be a panic buy, but they obviously know that Mudryk is not going to be around for a while, so another winger is needed. But we should assess in the summer when there's going to be more options available. I don't know. No, I don't know where the Mudryk B sample is. I've got absolutely no idea, guys, where the Mudryk B sample is. No idea whatsoever. But yeah, people, that seems like pretty much everything we have gone through today. Great show, as always, guys. Thank you so much to everyone that's tuned in. Big love for all the support, as always, guys. I will be, and CISO has gone to Ipswich. Guys, we're 6 likes from 160. Run it up, people. Yeah. Let's see what happens. But yeah, as of yet, January 22nd, still no news in the way of incomings. I think a bid for Garnacho could be coming. And let's see what happens in a midfield player, or dare I say it, a striker. That'll be wonderful news. But yeah, guys, I will be back later on today if there's any further news. If not, I will try and do something tomorrow. I'm going to Liverpool tomorrow to do some work on something which I will tell you guys about. But I'll be in Liverpool tomorrow, so I won't be able to do a live stream at 1 o'clock. I'll try and do something, guys, maybe at around 3-ish in the tomorrow afternoon from the hotel if the Wi-Fi is decent. But if not, guys, I will be back on Friday probably. But anyway, if it's not live, there'll be uploads tomorrow and Friday if I haven't got the time to go live, or the internet's crap or whatever in the hotel. But yeah, people, love for the support. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of the Champions League tonight. Big game, PSG Man City. Let's see what happens. But as always, enjoy the rest of your day. Up the Chelsea, and peace out.